I guess what we're struggling with is that we know that the police have training, and they've demonstrated time and time again that they're able to disarm and de-escalate. But that's only deployed with non-Black people. And so we feel that there is a systemic attack on Black bodies. This is not Afghanistan. The United States is all over the world promoting democracy, equity, and inclusion. Yet here in the United States, we have had a systematic, ongoing attack on Black bodies. And the people that don't stand with us, my question is why? If you are able to look at that video today, if you haven't seen it, I've seen it one time and it's playing in my head as a constant nightmare. But if you look at that video today as a parent with a child that has a conceal and carry, I ask you to think about Amir as your child in that scenario, and would you have been proud of what they did? Now keep in mind, we're in an urban community, so when someone comes in the house, you don't know what's happening right away. And then we had this really, really negative overlay that comes from an old racist playbook of yesteryear. And that's when the story came out to automatically criminalize Amir Locke and paint him as a suspect. And that was so harmful, that was so hurtful, because what we had to do as a family is say, well, wait, what? Wait a minute. Who are they talking about? And so we're not, the father said he wasn't naive. He didn't come out and speak out. He wanted to see the video and see, did he do what he was taught? Because the picture was painted so vividly, contrary, which we now know, to the truth, that you have just a family in pain. We are a pro-life family, pro-life on both sides, cradle to the grave. So you don't have a right to be pro-life and pro-violence against innocent Black people. You don't have a right to do that. Only God is ordained to take someone's life. And so when we see victims of gun violence to thugs in the streets, that is painful, and our heart bleeds for them as a family. We are standing with families against that type of violence. But what we have here is a victim of gun violence from a system who empowered someone with a uniform, a badge, and a suit to carry out what we're seeing that racists have not been able to do. So when you have implicit bias plus power, that creates a lot of pain. It's not just a bias. It's not just an implicit bias. There are some professions where you cannot afford to get it wrong.
That's right. That's right.
And so we have an innocent young man that has been executed. We have an innocent young man who has been demonized in the news within seconds of the incident, and that was an orchestrated attack. And so we asked the parents of children with firearms, we asked the parents, and these are licensed, registered people with conceal and carry, responsible gun ownership, to stand with us and say that the Second Amendment is for Black people too. It's for Black people too. We ask for people who say that they're pro-life to be pro-life. Cradle to the grave, everyone's life, including Black lives. And I don't have anything else to say.
Praise the Lord.
Next, we'll have Chantel Allen from Black Lives Matters.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Nika Gray. I'm Amir Locke's aunt. I am Amir's father's youngest sister. And I stand here today before God, who's the head of our lives, and for my brother on his behalf and on Karen's behalf, just to ask that we all stand together and demand this change. Unfortunately, Amir won't benefit from it, but the next person will. Unfortunately, we don't get to hug him and love on him and see him live out his dream, but the next family can, and they can do it in his name. And so what we're asking is that this no-knock warrant, that this policy that was put in place where it only affects people that look like me, people that look like Amir, people that look like many people that are standing behind me, we're just asking that is changed. Thank you.
I'm Chantel Allen. I'm with Black Lives Matter Twin Cities. I just wanted to take that moment of silence because our city just keeps erupting. We have a mayor who clearly does not understand what leadership is. So I've been doing this for a while. So, I've been around Jamar Clark, Philando Castile, I didn't see none. Even George Floyd, I still didn't see none. When Dante Wright was murdered, the next day there was a special meeting called. The mayor fired everybody in line until he got to the cop, and he fired the cop. That's leadership. When somebody is not doing their job, when somebody is causing harm on the citizens that you're responsible for, your constituents, it is your responsibility to fire everybody until you can fire the cop. I need to see that cop fired immediately. And not just him, I want the antagonizer fired also, Mr. Kick the Couch Man, Mr. Antagonizer. That is not how you interact with citizens. We are so far, when I think about the spectrum of how do we interact with individuals in our city and politics, and we are so far away from my expectations. A warrant for property, I don't even know if that should even exist. Definitely not a SWAT warrant for property. We've been yelling people over property for years. And we were just talking about let us get in the streets. You literally, Mayor Jacob Fry and Chief Interim Amelia, whatever, you're short-lived, so I don't need to know your name. You literally put property over people. And you think your constituents is going to stand for that? Nah, this is 2022. We have come too far. The precedent has been set. We know what justice looks and feels like. We are on the road to getting there, and you are not going to get in the way. We will continue to show up. We will continue to put pressure on you until that chief is gone, until the antagonizing cop is gone, until the murderous cop is gone. And to be honest with you, I'd like to see Mayor Jacob Fry be gone. He is not demonstrating leadership at all, at all. And as somebody who's an elected official, it just really, it sickens me. It sickens me. Because when I think about this great so-called democracy that folks are supposed to have, right? And as I ran to get into this elected seat, all I could constantly think in my mind is, I'm carrying the people to this seat. Who is he carrying? I'm sure his constituents are not okay with this. If you are a voter of Jakey Fry, I demand that you send that letter, email, phone call, however you like to communicate, and let him know that you need him to step down. And we need a true leader in the city of Minneapolis because we need justice. You can't just come